Good day, ma'am. This is Rovica Catad from BSHM2B, and I will be reporting the Chapter 8 of Business Organization and Management entitled Organization for Production. Production or manufacturing, as it is more commonly called, is concerned with making of things, the creation of form utility. Etymologically, the word manufacturing means making by hands. However, very few articles are now made solely by hands. Even the simplest type of manufacturing necessitates some tools. There are hand tools and machine tools. In addition to tools, various types of equipment are often necessary depending on the nature of the manufacturing process. The basic function of manufacturing is to change raw materials or secondary materials into a more useful form or state. It may involve a changing of the nature of the material or a changing of or its form or both. Together with selling, manufacturing constitutes one of the two basic functions in business. Finance is, of course, essential to both manufacturing and selling. Types of production process. Extractive process. In some industries, the basic production process is one of extracting substances from the earth or the sea, known as the extractive process. Examples of this process are the mining of coal, iron, ore, lead, gold, and silver, drilling for petroleum, and the extraction of magnesium and other chemicals from the ocean. Analytic process. The analytic process is one in which a basic substance is broken down into a number of other materials which may or may not bear any resemblance to the parent substance. Synthetic process. Synthetic process refers to those industries in which a number of different materials are combined to form a single product. In the manufacture of steel, glass, and dinnerware, the final products are quite different from the original ingredients because of physical or chemical changes. Fabricating process. The term fabricating process, although used principally in the structural steel business, refers to a process that is rather widespread in industry, wherein a material has its form changed to some extent by being machined, woven, cut up, pressed, finished, or treated in some other manner. It is sometimes called the converting process, particularly in textile field. Continuous and intermittent processes. A second classification of production process includes continuous process. Unfortunately, the term continuous process has a dual meaning that is frequently confusing. It is sometimes used to describe a manufacturing situation in which the productive facilities must be kept continuously in operation for relatively long periods of time, necessitating day and night shifts and Sunday work. In the steel industry, for example, the furnaces must be kept hot once they have been lit until a shutdown is caused by a mechanical failure or a lack of orders. If the furnaces are allowed to cool, they must usually be rebuilt before they can be used again. This situation is also true in much of the chemical industry, where once the production process have been started, they must be carried through the completion without interruption. Intermittent process. Here again, as with its counterpart, there is a double meaning to intermittent process. In its first sense, the term refers to any manufacturing process that can be stopped at will, for example, at the end of each day, and that can be started up again the next morning with no difficulty. Under this concept of the term, almost any industry that operates a purely one shift a day basis would qualify. Increasing production. Four processes in production have been used to good advantage in marketing, transportation, office management, and other business functions. It is in the manufacturing, however, where they find greatest application and are mainly responsible for the progress of industrialization in advanced countries. These processes are specialization, standardization, simplification, and mechanization. Specialization refers to the narrowing of the field of activity. A company may specialize in products. Instead of putting out a variety of radioelectronic products, a company may specialize in only a few kinds of transistor radios, which it would then develop to a high degree of quality and perfection. Specialization may be applied to process, equipment, or labor skills. Simplification refers to the reduction in the number of types, sizes, forms, designs, colors, and other characteristics of a product. When a manufacturer of clothing reduces his products to three basic sizes of small, medium, and large, he engages in simplification. If instead of putting out shirts of numerous designs and interlocking colors, he puts only a few basic and plain colors of shirts, he uses simplification to reduce his inventories of raw materials, to effect economies and lower cost of manufacturing, and to increase efficiency of the manufacturing process. Standardization refers to the setting of standards or norms as to the size, quality, form, measure, weight, or other similar feature. For instance, electric light bulbs are generally standardized such that a bulb purchased anywhere can fit a socket in any home. Automobile or Jeep parts are standardized by manufacturers to enable more production and easier repairs. Standardization enables interchange of parts. Mechanization refers to the development of machines to perform as much of the manufacturing process as possible. Manual skills of workers are supplanted by machine skills. A mechanized printing establishment may use a folding and binding machine to take the work of 20 laborers in the end of processes of preparing books. Factors involved in the manufacturing. Design. The design may be standard, static, and unchanging, as in some articles of staple merchandise. It may be variable and subject to change overnight, as in the case of some lines of style merchandise, or the change may be imperceptibly affected over a fairly longer period of time. Requirement of design. The design of an article must meet four requirements. Consumer acceptance. The design of the article must have what is called consumer acceptance. The article must appeal to the consumer's taste or desires. Utility. The second requirement of design is that the product shall adequately serve the purpose for which it is intended. The product must be useful. A beautifully designed and attractive chair may not be strong enough to serve as a chair for day-to-day use. Not too many families can afford purely decorative furniture, especially if there are many children. Utility in an article is indeed an imperative consideration in design. Consumer desire for beauty should be harmonized with utility. Economic processing. As a third requirement, the design of an article should not be a cause for the use of an economical manufacturing process. If the design slows down the process of manufacturing, high cost of production will result. Kind of material to be used. The fourth requirement of design is that it must suit the material for which the article is to be made. The material must have to be worked to produce the design wanted. Some materials are more workable than others. Some processes can be used with some materials and not with others. Choice of materials. As a second factor in manufacturing, the choice of material, among other things, depends on utility or purpose, durability, and cost of development and manufacture of the product. Utility. Articles may have either a utility purpose or a decorative one, sometimes both. An ornament has little utility. If it is merely for decorating something like a house, such decorative articles carry temporary consideration. The main considerations in such cases are cheapness of materials and inexpensive methods of manufacturing. Durability. Articles with utility purpose are made with some consideration for durability. The choices of durable material is desirable. At the same time, economical manufacturing is also desirable in order to keep costs down. Cost of development and manufacturing. Before undertaking to develop a particular product, the management must be able to envisage a return on the product that is commensurate with the cost of development. It goes without saying that this requires not only forecast of the market for the product, but also the knowledge of time, effort, and equipment required in its development. Also, important is the estimated cost of manufacturing the product, which must be done economically, otherwise the product will be of little use. Processing. In manufacturing, the third and last factor involved is processing, which requires the machine and labor. The proportion, however, of each is seldom the same in the manufacturing of two different products. For example, the manufacture of safety razor blades uses highly automatic machines, several of which may be tended by one person. Other processes, however, may require two or three or more attendants to a machine. Trend to automaticity. The tendency in machine designs is to make machines more automatic in their operation so that less labor is required. The early printing machine was operated by hand, while the modern printing press is run by an electric motor and fed automatically. Layout influences production. Another determining factor in production is layout. This refers to the arrangement of machines and equipment in any kind of work according to the sequence of operation. There are other factors influencing an ideal arrangement. Some of these factors are the size and shape of the space available, accessibility, convenience, transportation facilities for moving materials, light and power facilities, and others. Sometimes these influences can be wholly or partly satisfied or overcome. Sometimes they are insurmountable, especially if to correct them requires the outlay of money that is not available. Efficiency of labor. The efficiency of labor is a complex quality that is based on many factors. High wages are incentives, but they do not take the place of careful selection of employees and their thorough training and adequate supervision, without which high wages may be just a waste of money. If they are followed, efficient labor is received in return for a good wage. High production and low cost will not result from low wages, where incentive is lacking. Necessity for continued operation. With effective machines and equipment, and with efficient employees and workers, the manufacturer should realize that this remaining successful in business depends upon his ability to continue to produce what is needed in the market at a price that the customers are willing to pay. Cost of materials and labor affect the price, equally so will idleness. The overhead cost of an expensive machine must be considered. The manufacturer, therefore, must try to keep his machines and men in operation. This involves careful scheduling of operations, orders, and materials. Control of production. In the broadest sense, control of production signifies the management of manufacturing. Primarily, it is concerned with the aspects of time, place, and quantity. Control of production uses all the information in dictating what is to be made, from what is to be made, where it is to be made, and how it is to be made. It also furnishes the specifications, instructional details, and paperwork necessary to carry out those plans. It gives data to the manufacturing unit and collects reports on performance as a guide for future operations and to check on current performance. Production control facilitates the flow of work, sees to it that the parts are needed when they are needed, and enables the company to meet the time schedules. Production control is used as a gauge in tracing waste, loss, and many business failures. It serves as a powerful and profitable mechanism when properly applied. Steps in production control. Production control consists of a well-defined set of procedures that has an objective, the coordination of all the elements of production into a smoothly flowing whole, resulting in the fabrication of products with a minimum of interruption at the earliest possible time and the lowest possible cost. The essential production data utilized in production control consist of routing, scheduling, and dispatching. Routing concerns the establishments of the path which the production will take in its travel through the plant. The route sets forth the operation to be performed and the sequence to be followed. The machine, attachments, and work areas to be utilized at each production steps are indicated. Scheduling. It is the assigning of clock or calendar times for carrying out the various operations. It can be thought of as the time use coordinator, which seeks to have many operations properly synchronized. Inventory control. Closely allied to production control and often part of it is the control of inventories. It avoids unnecessary waste. A failure to have adequate control may result in the scrapping or throwing to salvage of useful items. Inventory control covers raw materials inventories, goods in process inventories, and finished stock inventories and supplies inventories. A close check of issuances is made. Accurate records that give a true picture of the status of items are established. Control of inventories not only prevents wastage and minimizes theft, but also facilitates cost accounting of the manufacturing process. Ordering points when economic quantities may be ordered can be set with greater precision. It is also easier to establish the warning point when follow-up of materials which have been ordered must be made. Otherwise, delays and interruption in actual manufacture may result. Effective control of inventory is aimed at ensuring that an adequate but not excessive bank of materials is on hand at all times to meet operating requirements. Quality control. The manufacturing end of a business is not only responsible for production, for producing quickly at a reasonably low cost, but is likewise responsible for the quality of the product. Quality is controlled by having precise specifications and necessary inspections of the product to see that the specifications are adhered to. The product engineer takes care of designs and specifications of the products of an enterprise. It is highly specialized phase of designing, particularly in metal working industries. The product engineer must have a keen understanding of technical requirements and sees to it that the quality is assured not only in the performance but also in the ability of the product to be used without too much repair or servicing. Quality is maintained through inspection. The inspection department does not create quality but measures the quality of products against the standards set by the company. It ascertains what quality should be maintained and conduct its quality check even when volume production is involved. Maintenance. Practically every enterprise of any size, hotels, store, school, factory, or utility has its maintenance department. The smooth functioning of the entire operating department is virtually dependent upon the effective operation of the men behind the scenes, the maintenance workers. Adequate maintenance and inspection aid controlling and production machines. Machine maintenance consists of periodic checkups, adjusting alignments, sharpening production tools, lubricating moving machine parts, and examining machine to detect any misuse in its use. Inspection of a work done with a particular machine is a common machine control technique. It is effective and perhaps the cardinal test because what's being accomplished by use of the machine is the important consideration and answers whether performance is taking place according to plans. Any necessary corrective measures can thus be ascertained and the proper action taken. Using raw materials for the production of goods that are valuable in large quantities can be termed as manufacturing, and industries which can create a finished good from raw material can be termed as manufacturing industries. The manufacturing industry falls in the secondary sector, and it plays a crucial role in the economic development of the country, as economic growth is measured by the growth of the manufacturing industries. The manufacturing sector is regarded as the backbone of both social and economic development. They aid in the modernization of agriculture and the reduction of people's significant reliance on agricultural income by offering jobs in the secondary and tertiary sectors. In today's globalized world, our sector must become more efficient and competitive, with only the best products remaining competitive.